Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you. We're gonna wait till some folks enter the chat box. I'll take myself out of a box. Yeah. The puppies are here. We just gotta wait for some other people to enter in. Currently sitting in a big cloud of dog fart. Welcome, welcome. I love that you're excited for these lives. I'm having a Sunday over here, so don't mind the hair, the outfit. We've got both dogs in here sleeping next to me, which is kind of sweet. Hopefully it stays that way. I had mentioned on Instagram stories that I want to do consistent lives on YouTube. I didn't post anything last week, and I always do the Buff Bunny Collection live launch parties. Those are always my favorite. And then I sprinkle in a couple lives here and there with you guys, and they tend to just be my favorite because I enjoy and thrive off the interaction with you guys. And I know you can interact after the fact in videos in the comment section, but it's not the same. It's not as personal. So I do really love lives, so I'm going to be doing consistent lives. I had asked on Instagram the best day of the week and the best time that works for you, and the most common best day of the week you guys said was on Sunday versus a weeknight, and then everyone said 5 p.m. seems to be the most popular time. I think that's when many of you maybe are available. I don't know if that runs into like dinner time for some of you or what, but we're going to see how it goes. So for now, I'm going to keep it on Sundays at 5 p.m. It's not to say maybe we won't change things up if people want me to change it up, or if for some reason Jay and I have something going on the weekend, maybe we would switch it up. But otherwise, I want you guys to be able to count on these Sunday night lives with myself and maybe a couple Corso accents in the room. So yeah, I thought it would be nice to get on a set schedule for that. For tonight, I didn't have anything really set planned to talk about. I did ask for you guys to send me over any questions you had over on Instagram stories, but we have the chat box live and active right now, so say hello as you enter the room. I'm just realizing now you can see what a slob kebab I am because my whole makeup section is just on display over there as a mess and everything else, but that is life sometimes. I also haven't really been posting much on Instagram. It wasn't really purposeful, but at the same time, I'm someone who's not super consistent on Instagram at all times. I just don't always know what to say or what to post, or don't always feel drawn to post. And I don't force myself to post if I'm not feeling it, essentially. It's kind of how I am with YouTube, but I do push through a bit more usually on YouTube than Instagram. So I wasn't as active over there the past couple weeks, but I had a nice little break. I feel like I was just in a little bit of a, I don't even want to say a slump. I just feel like busy, but you know, 2 dogs is a lot, you guys. Like working a full day and coming home and taking care of 2 dogs and trying to also take care of myself. There's not like a lot of leftover time in the day, so some things tend to fall off. Which usually ends up being Instagram. So I'm trying to be better, a little bit more proactive. I still really haven't done any like feed posts on Instagram, but I don't know if anyone actually cares about that part. But I hope everyone's having a great Sunday. Let me know how your weekend's going. We had a random weather shift. It was literally less than 20 degrees this past week, and today was randomly it got up to 72 degrees and was super windy, so we lost power for a couple hours. But let me know if you guys can hear me in the comments. or throw it in the chat box. Let me know if audio and everything is sounding all good, nothing's laggy or delayed. I usually ask you guys that from the start, but I did forget. I love that both dogs are just snoozing. Snoozing right away. Okay, so where are you going, dude? Audio's good? Cool. Just want to make sure. I know sometimes things get a little laggy where it doesn't match up with my mouth. So want it to make sure that it does. Can you guys see how big Justice is getting? Like, his body almost looks as long as Bruce Wayne's from this angle. He is so massive. He's such a little monster, but he's such a good boy. He loves his big brother. Jason and I had a really fun day yesterday going to Cazenovia. It's a town not too far from us. It's a really cute town, college town, but it's a really cute, I don't know, hometown vibes kind of feel, and we found this really cool dog shop. So Jason's going to have a vlog going up on that, but Justice literally met his best friend there. It was so super sweet just to see him interact with another dog, a dog that got along good with him too. So Claire asked, do you have any tips on how to offset 10 hours of sat in office? Like sitting in an office. What with the menopause and loss of muscle mass? Any tips would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so tips on how to offset sitting in an office. All right, so let's start with that because I relate to that. I work in a hospital. I basically have a desk job for the most part. I do supervise an office, but honestly, I'm not standing or walking around a ton. I did just get this Fitbit that has been helping quite a bit with being more mindful of my steps. So even just like getting up and walking down the hall, I've been a bit more mindful of, but I am also very sedentary in my job. I also commute. So easy 10 to 11 hours of my day is spent sitting Monday through Friday. JJ is now snoring, if you guys can hear him. So to offset that, number one, being aware of how much you are moving regardless of having a sedentary job. So whatever could make you more mindful of moving, I do believe having some kind of tracking mechanism can be very helpful. I have religiously gone on and off from wearing a fitness tracker. My phone tracks it. Most phones track it, yes, but I'm not someone that always has my phone on me, especially at work. I usually don't have my personal cell phone on me at work if I'm leaving the office. It's kind of frowned upon. So having a tracker on my wrist has been a game changer. I have to say, it has really changed how much movement I've got just in the past 2 weeks that I've been wearing it, because before, I remember when I'd wear a watch and I didn't change my movement at all, and I was just kind of like keeping tabs on how much I moved. It was literally nothing. I was getting barely 2,000 steps a day. So with getting this watch this time, I've been way more mindful that I'm not just gonna like take in the data, but I'm gonna do something about it. So I know everyone's jobs are a little bit different, but with having a sedentary job, it's made me try to be a bit more proactive with ensuring that I'm getting up and taking breaks. I know that's hard. It's really hard for me. It's something I struggle with because I always have work to do. I don't have a boring job. I have a very busy job. My to-do list at work never ends, and my personal life to-do list, like there's just always things I feel like I need to be doing or should be doing. So for me, in my mind, to justify stopping what I'm doing to take a break, go for a walk, you know, even some days to go to the bathroom, I'll be honest, I will put off going to the bathroom if I have to pee because I have so much to do. Let me just finish let me just finish one more email before I get up. But it's been helpful for me to have the watch to kind of keep an eye on my steps during the workday. So what I've done is Jason and I usually go to the gym before I go to work, so I have like an average amount of steps I get in before I go to work, and then it kind of like peters out during the day. But just by making the effort for me to go for like a 20-minute walk, even just a 20, not even a full 30-minute break, a 20-minute walk where I'm moving at a good pace, I've noticed I can get in anywhere from like 3,000 to 5,000 steps by taking 20 minutes out of my day to walk. So if there's anywhere in your day that you can carve that in, whether it be a lunch break or whether it just be more mindful of like getting up and taking those breaks. I even like when I've been going into the lunchroom to like fill up my water or get my lunch, if no one comes in, I know this will look really funny to people, but I've been like just doing some squats or like stretching out my hips, like doing like twists from side to side. It sounds dumb, but like sitting all day is so horrible for your body. So even just doing that, it's movement. It's something to get your body moving. So that's been really helpful for me. And that's the best advice I can give you is just find any area of your life you can to move more. Some people do. I have an adjustable desk in here at work. I don't, but some people get the adjustable stands. So yes, you're not stepping throughout the day, but you could potentially maybe stand if that's an option for your job, if you are tethered to a headset. Even just standing. So when I do the lives, I'm normally not sitting. I usually stand during a live. I'll get a ton of steps in during a live because I'm kind of moving back and forth, all right, in place. It doesn't always have to mean going for a walk down the street or walking on a treadmill. Sometimes just the movement, standing in place can actually, that's movement, you guys. It doesn't have to be walking a set mileage. Fidgeting burns calories, like waving your hands in the air. I'm not telling you to like run around and flail your arms around like a Looney Tunes. But the more movement you have, regardless of what it may be, the more calories burn. So just try to get creative with it, have fun with it. That is why I like a fitness tracker, because it makes me a little bit competitive with no one else but myself in effort to move more. Like I don't want to let myself down. Like today I haven't done that great. I really haven't moved that much. Jay and I went for a walk. Other than that, it's been a lot of sitting around today, so I'm only at 5,700 steps. But maybe I'll get more in later. You know, that kind of stuff like motivates me to move a bit more. And then just doing the best you can too, Claire. Like if you are someone that can get to the gym, like maybe there's not a lot of room for you to incorporate movement into your day job, but you know, that's where sometimes I do rely a bit more on my gym sessions to ensure that when I'm at the gym, I'm making the most of my time. A lot of times when I was trying to burn more calories for prep and get more movement in, if I was lifting for the day, in between lifts, I would do some cardio movements. Just a sip. Good boy, Justice. Lay down. Lay down. Good boy, Justice. So in between, like if I was weightlifting, I would do some, bless you, I would do jumping jacks, or I would do some squats, or I would do something just to kind of keep moving, keep my heart rate elevated, and just to kind of get more cardio benefits from it. You are so close to that computer, sirs. Okay. It is tough though. I have to say, when I switched from being a dietitian in the hospital, that is, I'm still a dietitian, just I don't do it as my day job. As a dietitian, I was walking all over the place. My job was seated when I was documenting notes, but I documented notes back in the office, and I would have to go out to what we call the unit to visit patients, meet with them. I did nutrition groups. I was always standing. I was literally never seated. So my job as a dietitian, I got loads of movement. And when I went into management at the age of 29, that was the biggest change. I was like, how the heck? I could like feel my body change because I was just sitting there all day. I didn't quite know how to make that transition. So it is very, very tough. Shay, I wish. That is one of the biggest complaints about my job right now. And not just from me, I will say it's one of our biggest issues at the hospital with recruiting staff is you cannot work from home. And it doesn't matter what you're doing in your position. It doesn't matter like if you're in an office environment like myself. So I work in the business office. I'm not actually working directly in the units with the patients anymore. But no, we're not allowed to work from home at all. At the beginning of COVID, we were for a little bit, but my job duties changed a bit with COVID because I had to assist with PPE supplies and stuff like that. So I had to be on site. It's the one, it's not the one thing I hate if I'm being honest, but it is something I very much dislike because I feel like as a society we've moved more towards working from home, and in some ways I like working away from home. I like having that structure of I leave the house, I get dressed for the day, I go to my job, and when I leave my job stays there, and I come home and I get to focus on all my other things, you know. Whereas when you work from home, I feel like you do have to learn how to better manage that, and you know, knowing when to be able to walk away and kind of shut down for the day. I feel like that can be a challenge. But overall, I mean, Jason works from home. I do like that he works from home even though I'm not working from home. It's nice having him at home. So if like, he's super helpful. If there's something I need done, he will do it. You know, it's kind of nice to have someone at home who can handle some home things. Oh yes, I'm glad you like the setup of this live. Like I said, the room looks just a little bit messy, so I apologize for that. My makeup situation is always a bit of a train wreck, which sometimes Justice gets into. So I can't believe how good these boys are both being right now. Hey Jess, yeah, it's such a tough adjustment, right? From walking a ton to going to being sedentary. And I hear a lot of people I work with too that they don't want management jobs, or sometimes people avoid promotions for that reason. I don't know, I guess I never really thought about that as I was thinking about my career path being sedentary versus being in a job where I'm on my feet. I think even if I was working from home, it would still be sedentary. I feel like as a dietitian, things have moved more virtual. So if I ever do move into just working for myself from home, I would still see that being more of a virtual practice, because that's what most people want nowadays. Let me know if you agree in the comments, but I think most people don't want to go sit in a doctor's office and meet face to face. And even with a dietitian, I think a lot of people like the option of virtual, because number one, you don't have to leave your home. It's easier. It gives you a little bit less, I feel like, nervousness if you're nervous about meeting with someone. So I feel like regardless, I'm always going to be dealt with more of a sedentary job by nature. So it is what it is. I feel very blessed that I'm someone that has always loved working out. I'll be honest. I started with my interest in fitness at a very young age. I think some of that did come from my own striving to be thin from a young age. So that's like a whole other topic to dive down into, but it is what it is. Jason, do you want me to move the camera so we can all see Bruce Wayne? I can move it. Yeah, so I feel like I did have an interest in working out at a young age for whatever reason at that time, but I do love working out. I enjoy working out. It's very rare that I'm like in a mode where I hate working out, you know, where I'm like, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to do anything. Sometimes I get bored. I get bored a lot. I need environmental changes. I need, you know, a change of routine. We're going to move this so you guys can see Bruce a little bit more. Please hold. Ew, no, don't get over there, Kara. Did that work? I didn't want my face in there. Okay, cool, right? Sorry about that up close and personal with me, but yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, I feel very blessed the fact that I I enjoy fitness, and fitness has looked different for me throughout the years. All right, so I've had so many different changes in my fitness journey. If you've been here for a while, I mean, I started working out in a gym at a young age. Didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew I wanted to be in a gym. So I dabbled in a little bit of what I thought was weightlifting and running. And I did that for a long time. And then I got into the itch of marathon running because my best friend Erin ran a marathon, and I was like, crap, if she can do that, I can do that. So she got me into marathon running, did that for a while. And so my point is, I've just done so many different things with fitness. There was a period of time where the only fitness I did was with group instructors, whether it was Zumba, it was kickboxing, it was Taibo. I mean, I've done gym programs before, I've done my own programs, I've worked with different coaches. I'm someone that's constantly changing up how I'm doing my own fitness, but I love fitness. I don't know how many people can say that. I do feel very lucky that I enjoy it. And I don't, at this point in my life, enjoy it from a perspective that I need to go do this because I need to be thinner or I need to lose weight. I do it because, hands down, first and foremost, I do it because I like it. I like how it makes me feel. Sometimes I don't like it while I'm doing it, but for the most part, I love that feeling of pushing myself hard. I love that feeling because I feel like I don't always get that feeling in any other place in my life. You know, I don't know where else I'm not challenged. So being able to challenge myself with workouts makes me feel good as a person. Hands down, that's the number one reason why I do it. Number two, I'm not getting any younger, I'm getting older, and I definitely think about my health, and we know you need to move. It's good for our bodies, our internals, our mental health in particular. When I don't work out, I definitely start to feel depressed, and I think it goes back to what I just discussed, the fact that when I'm pushing myself, I feel best about myself. If I'm not pushing myself, if I don't have those goals, if I'm not actively doing something that challenges me, I feel a little lost. I feel bummed out. I feel like a loser. So for me, fitness has always really been such a great thing in my life. And even though I've had different shifts up and down with it, with how I've done the fitness, I love it, and I feel super grateful for that. So for me, going to the gym or even working out at home and having to make that switch when COVID hit, that was still a funky switch for me. I definitely got in a funk with that, but I never thought I could be someone that could work out from home, and I proved to myself I absolutely can. Like, I'll only do cardio from home now. You won't see me doing cardio at a gym, but I'm blessed that I now have the Peloton treadmill and spin bike. Very grateful for that, so I love those. Anyways, I think my point was, if you're someone that can't get exercise in while you're at your job because it's sedentary, you do need to play around with different ways that you enjoy movement and enjoy fitness, whether it be a gym, whether it be environment makes such a difference. I find it very challenging in New York this time of year to get out and be fit, but when the weather's nice, that's what Jason and I do every weekend. We find somewhere, we drive somewhere, we explore, we hike. We'll be taking both dogs this summer. I feel most calm when I'm in nature, in my element, getting movement. That feels good to me. That feels like what I should be doing. So you have to find what works for you in effort to kind of get in more movement. And maybe it is just working out from home. That's okay. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. So being flexible with yourself is super important as you're approaching your fitness goals. Charlotte, thank you so much for saying I'm your favorite Buff Bunny Collection model. Very, very grateful to work with Buff Bunny Collection. It feels unreal to me, honestly, that I've been doing it for so long now, and just very honored. Something I'm very passionate about. I was just talking to Jason about this yesterday because I posted on stories Lovely and Blush boutique haul. It's a smaller woman-owned business that I'm working with, and I really love their clothes. I feel like they make me a bit more fashionable and less lazy with my fashion. So I must have spent like 2 hours doing those stories and kind of getting everything ready. And I said to Jason, I hope people know, and I say this because of Buff Bunny Collection, I hope people realize sometimes with influencers, it's great to have codes and links. You get the free clothes, you make a small commission, but sometimes I think people, I worry people will think I do things just for a cash grab, and I'm very picky about who I work with. I'm very picky about if I will take a code. Because trust me, I'm a bit established here on social media. I will easily have people, hey, we'll send you this, will you promote it, we'll give you a link, we'll give you an affiliate, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's so many of those I could tell you about that I have turned down because they just didn't feel like the right fit for me. And oftentimes I don't like taking those types of collaborations if it's not something I've already used or used for a period of time and loved. So bringing it back to the clothes, I was saying that to Jason because I'm not really making much of any money from Lovely and Blush. I do get the free clothes. It's a great perk, but at this stage of my life, it's nothing that super excites me. I mean, I'm lying. It does excite me. I like it. But what I like more is just trying new clothes and talking about clothes. I have been in love with fashion and style since I was a kid. Again, same with fitness. Jason knows when Jay and I started dating, so Jason's older than me, right? So when we started dating, I was in high school and he was old enough to have a credit card, all right? How old do you have to be to have a credit card? 18 or something? 20, I don't know. He was old enough to have a credit card, so I was like, ooh, my boyfriend has a credit card. So that meant I could have him order me clothes from my favorite catalog, which was Delia's, which I don't know if Delia's was only popular with like upstate New Yorkers or if that was a global thing. I'm not totally sure. Nonetheless, obsessed with it. Jason would buy me clothes. I started working at the age of 15 at a movie theater. That's how Jay and I met. 14, actually. Just so I could buy the clothes. And I just always had such a different style. That's something people have said about me up until this day. They still say it about me. Like, you always just have a different style. Like, you come to work and you look so different and blah, blah, blah. I say blah, blah, blah a lot, don't I? Well, I say that because it's true. I have a unique style. I don't fit one mold. I dress based on my mood. So I've just always loved fashion. I've always loved talking about it. I don't know. I just really enjoy it. So that's my point with the love and support. Anytime you use my code or saying I'm your favorite Buff Bunny Collection model, it means a lot to me, and it has nothing to do with making money. It is nice to make money for sure. It's amazing to make money from doing things you love and that don't feel like work. Doing things like Buff Bunny Collection, it never feels like work. It's not to say that Jason and I aren't tired after a launch weekend or filming a video. It's a lot of work. We do put a lot of work into it, so don't let me fool you there. But at the same time, the process of doing it, it's never like, ugh, we have to film a Buff Bunny Collection video this weekend. It's never like that. I'm always excited. He's excited. We get creative with it. We have so much fun with it. And so I'm just grateful to be able to take a tiny little space of this influencer world and be able to be part of it. And, I've been on YouTube for 10 years now, so to still be, oh, you're literally on the keyboard. I don't know if that's going to be okay, little one. This is the thing with Justice. He doesn't have any grace yet. He's still learning his body. And when he finds a comfortable spot, he just plops down. Sweets, can I move you here, though? Come here, little loves. Come here, tiny little lovers. Okay. Maybe I just move that a bit. He just totally plopped down. These guys are going to get fat afterwards. I'm sorry. I know I'm rambling on, but clearly I like to talk. Hopefully you enjoy it. Let's see. I know, Jess, we got out today too for a little bit in the 70-degree weather. The only thing is those winds were gnarly, but hopefully that means that spring is around the corner, because I don't know about you, but I can't handle New York winters anymore, which is why Jason and I probably will not live here forever, but we're still kind of figuring that out. Oh, Dale writes, it's essential to work out regularly and overcome the most common tendency to say you are too tired. It will make you feel better. That's so true. And I've even definitely been like, I can't, I'm just too tired. Like, and I do think there's a time and place where your body needs rest, your body needs recovery. So understanding and learning your body a bit more to know when it's that point, when it's the point between making excuses, or is it no, you've truly been working hard, you've got all these other things going on, your body's under a lot of stress, maybe it's inflamed, maybe I would be better off just resting today. I came home the other week and I had really wanted to go for a run, and I had a nasty migraine above my eye. Like, I had a rip in my contact and I had to work through it for the day, and I got home and I just had the worst migraine, and I had all intentions of running, and I said to Jason, I'm like, I cannot tonight. I literally felt so sick that it felt like it wouldn't have been any benefit for me to even try because of how horrible my body was feeling. And I think that's okay. I wasn't making an excuse. That was me being in tune with my body and what I physically and mentally needed for that evening. So it's being honest with yourself when you're making excuses versus when you really do need to like back off. And I think some people don't think to build in recovery to their fitness routine. I think people think, being healthy and fit, they forget that days off are part of that. You need those recovery days. You need to restore your body, allow yourself to recover. You can't just push through it. I will not forget in bodybuilding when I would do 6 days a week splits. Let me tell you, the bodybuilding split for 6 days a week with only that one recovery day never felt like enough. My body never recovered. And in bodybuilding, it's kind of the point. You have to kind of embrace the suck and work through it because your goal is so extreme. But I just feel like there is no recovery in a 6-day lifting split. It is so much. In addition to that, I was doing loads of cardio, of course, also restricting calories in an effort to get to a super low body fat. So it's a bit of an extreme example, but I think it still goes without saying that you need recovery. You need those days to recover. And that doesn't mean that a recovery day is no movement, all right? It means a recovery day it can be different for everyone. Like if you're lifting and that's your primary focus is heavy lifting, so you need those days to recover and not lift. It doesn't mean you can't still move your body. Go for a hike, go do some spinning, do some yoga. Or maybe your recovery day is simply getting a massage and taking a hot bath or doing some self-care. So I think people forget how important those things are to build into your routine. And I try to remind my clients of that a lot of time too, because I find I get a lot of clients that work with me that are go-getters, and they're like, I'm motivated, I won't let you down, I'm gonna reach my goals. And I'm like, where's your you time though? You have 7 million things going on, you're now actively working on this goal, you're getting to the gym. Where's your you time? And for some people, the you time is in the gym. For some people, the you time is doing their fitness. I relate to that. For me, it's sometimes that is my you time as well. And then other times I need the alone time, not doing anything, not being around anyone, vegging out on the couch. I'll be honest. I need a veg out couch kind of day, or even if it's just a couple hours, I need that sometimes for my mentals. Looks a little bit different than for everyone. So it's always asking yourself what you need and what do I need to have in my routine to stay successful. And so that should incorporate something for recovery and reset. I'm actually going to try I have been doing chiropractor. I had to stop when I got COVID. I'm going to try to get back in this week because I do suffer, if you want to say that word, struggle with tinnitus, where I chronically have high pitch ringing in my ears. I have had it assessed. I don't have any hearing loss, thankfully, I guess, but they don't really know where it comes from. So I'm going to try acupuncture. Jason's been doing acupuncture for some of his body stuff. So I'm going to try out acupuncture next Saturday. I'm a little bit nervous, but also a little bit excited because if you struggle with tinnitus or know anyone that does, it's I don't know how to describe it other than I know Jason sometimes describes his symptoms of Lyme's and feeling trapped in your own body. And I will say, when you focus on ringing in your ears, it does. You feel claustrophobic, I think is the right word maybe, where you just want to get out. And I don't even like talking about it because that's what makes me pay attention to it. But things like background noise, I have other modalities that do help me with it, but we're going to try out acupuncture. So I bring that up because that could be another mechanism of recovery for you. So if anyone's tried it, let me know. Let me know if it's worth it for you or if it's been helpful. I'm going to read through some of your comments because I've just been blabbing here. Oh, Thomas Sanchez has been following me since the Hodge twins shouted me out, which, yeah, that was like when I was first on YouTube. They really got me actually quite a bit of followers. They put my name on the YouTube board, if you will, for fitness influencers, being a dietitian. Their video is still up. It's hilarious. It's so funny. It makes me laugh every single time. Jason and I were lucky enough. They played at the Funny Bone. If you guys have one of those, they played at the Funny Bone. They did their comedy tour at the Funny Bone. So Jay and I got to go watch them and eat dinner with them afterwards. But we had met them previously at the Arnold. Oh, what year was it? I can't remember which Arnold it was, which it's Arnold weekend right now. But Jason and I waited in line for them. It was so funny. We waited in line for them. I think they were there in like the Gymshark booth. And we get up there to meet them. And they're like, they made fun of us that we waited in line. They're like, you waited in this line? Like, you didn't have to wait in line. I didn't even know if they would like know who we were. They were the coolest guys ever. But yeah, very cool. And very cool, Thomas, that you have followed me that long, because I feel like 10 years, I've changed a lot as a person. My videos on here have changed a lot. A lot of people came here for the recipes, and then mostly bodybuilding is really what grew my following. And a big part of why it slowed, bodybuilding, number one, it's oversaturated now. So even if I did bodybuilding, I don't think I'd have the same growth. But, my mission here has changed a bit with what I share and educate you guys on. So it's nice to see that people have still stuck around through it. Ooh, Shay asked if you could live anywhere, where would you and Jason live? So we were just talking about that on Jason's live. We did one on his channel. We have some places we're thinking about. Couple of things that are important to us is not having extreme climate shifts. I don't even feel like I can personally tolerate cold anymore, but for Jason and having Lyme's disease, we've noticed it really exacerbates his symptoms and puts him in a position where he could have potential flare-ups with the extreme shifts. And I mean, it is like the New York State Lotto here, where they're just picking numbers every day for what temperature we're going to have. It's all over the board. We get everything here. We get the extreme cold, the extreme heat, the extreme rain. The only thing we don't get so much are like natural disasters, which I do much appreciate, but we need something with less extremes. So we also don't want to pay New York State taxes forever. We'd rather have use our money. Oh, this puppy is dreaming. Do you guys see his stomach going up and down? Mm-hmm. Oh, he's crying in his dream. Honey. I put the mic down to see if you guys could hear Big's ears. So we're looking at like maybe the Carolinas or Tennessee because they have better cost of living. We'd like to get more bang for our buck in terms of our money, but we're not going anywhere yet. We're being smart about it. We're just trying to save a bunch of money if we can and position ourselves in a really good place. But Jason and I went to Costa Rica on our honeymoon, and I remember when we were there at the time, there was property being sold. I can't remember how much now. And Jay and I looked at each other like, dang, I feel like it was like $200,000 or something, which at the time was a lot of money. It's still a lot of money, don't get me wrong. But at the time we were like, man, we gotta buy some property in Costa Rica. And so that's still always kind of on our mind. Maybe someday, probably not initially leaving New York, but maybe someday we'll leave the US altogether. I don't really know. You know, we don't have kids. We're not planning on it. So we don't really have too much holding us back. All our family does live around New York. My brother's in Boston, but we still don't even see him all the time. So it's kind of like, I don't know that we'd see him any less if we moved somewhere else, if that makes sense. But if we could live anywhere, I don't know, because we haven't been to enough places to really explore that. But I keep touching the mic. Apologies. I'd love to live in Orlando. Jason, that would be too hot for him, but we'll see. Oh my God, Pimp My Rice Cakes. I forgot about that. Girl, how do you do the puppy training life? You just got my first dog and I'm 100% exhausted. Victoria said and asked, yeah, puppy life is exhausting. And that was a huge reason why, like, Bruce just turned 5 this week. We really never were anticipating, I think, waiting this long to get another dog. But I don't know, we kind of felt like it was now or never. I personally was not as motivated to get another dog because puppy training sucks. It's hard. It's so much work. It's exhausting, which is a big reason why I haven't been as active on socials, because my priority has to go into training the dog, and he requires a lot of work right now. I can't just let him roam the house. You see all those makeup items over there? Those makeup brushes? They will be in his mouth. He'll be running around and chewing it. And if I just let it go, I will deal with that issue for the rest of his life. So I am someone that understands the need for good leadership in dog training. So that's been a priority for me over other things. And I have to say, though, having Bruce, he's helped train Justice quite a bit. So Jay and I are pretty lucky in that regard, that this one wants to be like that one. So he kind of, I mean, come on, look, he just mimics what the big one does. So it's helped immensely, but training puppies is super exhausting. It is. It's a lot of work, so that's why Jason puts out as much content as he does over on his channel, and has done a lot of helpful training guides and other things to help everyone out, because he's so good at it. So I'm thankful that he's good at it. He's taught me to be good at it too. What is the thought process, Jan, between turning off your Wi-Fi for tinnitus? I mean, I have it regardless of where I am. So, like, when I realized I had tinnitus, we were actually in Vermont on a snowboarding trip, and I don't know what we were doing, but it was like totally silent in the hotel room, and I was like, do you have that like ringing in your ears right now? And Jason's like, a little bit, but not bad. And mine was just like screeching at me. And I've noticed mine flares up when I'm stuffy. If I have any kind of congestion, it's worse. That, stress, and also sometimes too much caffeine or alcohol as well. Like the day after alcohol, I can have a little more ringing in my ears. I'm so sorry to hear that, Lauren, that your mom struggles with it. I've heard acupuncture for dogs as well. Actually, I'm trying to think if my sister did it with her golden. I don't know if she did. I did have a friend, a fellow dietitian, that did acupuncture for her dog. My sister did water therapy with her golden that passed, Lola. She did like walking on a treadmill in the water. I think it was helpful. Just get to some of your questions. Janet Gorman asks if someone has a lot of weight to lose. She's lost 70 pounds but has another 80 or so to go. Well, congrats. That's a huge weight loss, Janet. How much cardio do you recommend they do? How long and how often? Thank you. This is going to be pretty individualized. Unfortunately, that's my answer to a lot of questions. Pretty individualized for you. A lot of that, Janet, depends on what you're doing now, and how much you're willing to do. You want to make sure this is sustainable. So it depends. The biggest things that you can modify are certainly your workouts, right? So calories in, calories out are two things you can control. So looking at the food intake and also looking at simultaneously the workouts and how much exertion is on that side of things. So there isn't one set thing I can tell you like, oh, to lose the 80 pounds, you're definitely going to have to do 5 days a week for an hour of cardio. It doesn't work like that. It depends what you're doing in your diet, what you're doing with other workouts, what your lifestyle looks like, any other medical comorbidities going on, things like that. So it all kind of ties in together, right? So we have to kind of look at it as a whole picture and decide where to go next. So whether it's adding on more cardio to continue to lose the weight, at some point, yes, weight loss will slow. The more weight you lose, the less calories your body's going to require. So you're going to have a metabolic adaptation where you're also not going to need to eat as much because you don't have as much fat cells and body cells to feed. So your intake of food is going to need to come down a little bit too. Sometimes it's easier for me during a bodybuilding prep. I was always like, give me more cardio versus cutting my food because I'm someone that enjoys working out. I also very much enjoy food. So it depends on you as a person where you want to go with it. Most of us in general should be moving every day, but with a goal like yourself and depending on how aggressively you're moving towards it, it's going to vary. So I know that's not super helpful maybe of an answer, but what I would caution you with is definitely continue to work towards your goal, but also make sure what you're doing is realistic in the long term. It's not worth killing yourself, doing something super extreme if you're not going to be able to maintain it, because there's nothing worse than accomplishing such a huge weight loss if you can't sustain it and then you gain all that weight back, because those are the individuals that I sometimes work with who then really suffer a lot of issues with self-esteem and embarrassment and shame because they went from this huge goal of losing so much weight and then gaining it back and being able to become motivated again to try to lose weight. It's hard. It's almost traumatizing, if you will, for some people. It becomes that vicious cycle. So definitely really assess what's going to work for you and what you can sustain, hopefully for the long term. Ooh, I'm late to the questions. Okay. Dale says we should move to Florida, Jason. Jason and I love traveling to Florida. We go once a year, maybe twice this year, I don't know, but we do love going. But I say Florida, we've literally only gone to Orlando together. We've never traveled anywhere else in Florida together. So like all we know is Orlando. We've been to Tampa before. My grandparents used to live in St. Pete, which I love St. Pete. Just reminds me of my grandparents. But that's really all we've traveled to. Never done like the Florida Keys, which I hear are amazing. The one time I looked at Jay and I taking a trip to the Florida Keys, it was outrageously expensive. So I instead booked us a trip to Punta Cana where it was way cheaper. You know, I'm like, geez, I'm just going to go to the Caribbean then because it's cheaper and it's all inclusive and it's easier. It didn't end up being easier though. We had a bit of a mess at the end of that trip. Okay, good to know on the Wi-Fi. I'm going to have to look into that. Overkill, 4 times 4. I have trouble understanding the macros and how much mine should be. Also, is it true you need a caloric deficit of 500, I'm assuming, calories to lose weight? No, not necessarily the 500 calories per day. that's kind of the thought process. If you reduce your current intake by 500 calories per day, at the end of a week, that's going to be 3,500 calories, which equates to a pound of body fat lost. Doesn't always work out that perfectly. We're also not incorporating into that equation workouts. And these dogs be dreaming tonight, did you? Oh, he's woofing. That woke up Justice. So there's other things taken into that equation. In terms of understanding macros, it's not an exact science, all right? So find any macro calculator. You're going to find different ones that give you different equations. You don't necessarily need to pay a dietitian to figure out your macros, I'll be honest with you. It's about just... I see your message, Jason. That's true. You wouldn't have gotten sick if I brought you to the Florida Keys. Hindsight, baby. It's 2020. Macro calculators, there's a ton online. Play around with a few different ones. See what you get for results. Or here's the other thing. Just track what you're eating. Okay? You don't need to even figure out a calculator. Track what you're eating as best as you can. Start portioning things out, being more mindful, like keeping an eye on it, putting it into MyFitnessPal so that after a week goes by, you can look back and see what your eating habits really look like. How are you doing with protein? How are you doing with carbs? How are you doing with sugar? How are you doing with fat, sodium, etc.? Don't even worry about a macro calculator. Just start by looking at what you're currently doing. And then from there, hopefully, I feel like even without working with someone, you should be able to find a few places where you're like, looks like I am having the Starbucks 4 times a week, and every time I go, I get one of those cake pops. Maybe I could cut that out. Okay, so maybe you start there. You cut out the cake pop. You don't always have to go to the exact numbers. If you're a numbers person, that may work best for you. You may be motivated and do best with the numbers, but sometimes it's just as simple as identifying what you're currently doing and what you could be doing better, right? Marley Towers asked, any suggestions for people who don't like to exercise and really don't have the time to? How can I lose weight? Yes. So I will say I'm a firm believer that there's something that everyone enjoys doing in terms of finding movement, whether it's even just turning on some good ass music and dancing in your room. That sometimes is my favorite, but understood that sometimes it's just not the time for you to program it in. Okay, so how can you lose weight? This is where you are going to have to rely solely on your nutrition intake and what you're consuming and how much you're consuming. So the less you move, the less muscle mass you have, the less calorie needs you're going to have. Your body... Oh my God. Could you guys see? Can you see Bruce's tongue? It's literally going in and out of his mouth like he's drinking a bowl of water. I gotta get this on video. Please hold. This is too funny. Did he stop? Oh, the camera comes out and he stops. All right, anyways, so you have to rely on your nutrition intake, which means in order to lose weight, you're gonna have to end up being pretty strict on what you're eating in terms of the calories. Your body's not going to require as much if you're not exerting as much effort. So can you lose weight without working out? Absolutely. Absolutely. Plenty of people do it all the time and never structure in any kind of workouts, all right? That caloric restriction will do the trick every time. However, in effort to maintain the weight lost, if you do in fact lose weight in effort to maintain it, it's gonna get very challenging without incorporating in some exercise. So what we've seen from the National Registry of Weight Loss for those that maintain weight loss long term, that's one of the number one things that they do. It's self-monitoring, and it's also incorporation of workouts and movement in effort to maintain the weight loss. I could be wrong here, because I've never been someone where I've never been in a situation where I've had to lose a ton of weight. I have gained weight and had to lose it before. I have. But for those people that need to lose a lot of weight, I think you will find it challenging, because I'm getting so distracted by the dogs, I'm sorry. You will find it challenging to continue to lose weight without adding in something else. You know, there's only so much of your diet you can strip away before you feel like it's a quality of life issue. So just kind of keep that in mind too, and think about maybe ways that you would enjoy movement or find the time. We all have the same 24 hours in the day, right? I'm not here to be a drill sergeant, but I think most of us deserve to carve in 20 minutes for ourselves, all right? So I don't care if you have 17 kids or 14 cats or 8 jobs. We all deserve at least 20 minutes to ourselves, whether it's just for yoga and meditation, a walk. Doesn't have to be anything wild, but I would just keep that in mind, that I think we're all deserving of that time. Claire, it's been lovely speaking with you too. Thank you for joining us. I'm probably going to wrap up here shortly. I'm going to see if we got any other last minute questions. Oh, Lindsay Lamb, does increasing intensity mean shortening the rest periods between sets? Struggling with what intensity means with weight training. That's a really good question. So there's a couple of different ways you can skin a cat. There's a couple of different approaches you can take with increasing intensity in the gym when it comes to weightlifting. So one of those methods can be a reduction in rest period. I mentioned earlier in the live, if you were here for it, I used to incorporate in like plyometrics in between my lifts, which would normally be my rest sessions. I would do plyometrics. What that will do is increase the heart rate, potentially burn more calories, a bit more effort within the workout. What that will end up impacting, however, is likely your strength. So anytime you don't actually take that rest period to recover the 60 to 90 seconds, you probably will see your actual lifting suffer a bit in terms of how much weight you're lifting or how many reps you're getting. It's one approach. The other approach you can take is the alternate. Jason just answered my favorite Arnold movie for Jingle All the Way. That is a fact, actually. The other approach in terms of intensity is I've worked with plenty of people and seen plenty of people who go back to sleep, sleepyhead. If they go to the gym, they pick up some weights, they're sitting there, they're going. Do you need to get down? They pick up whatever weight is comfortable to them and sit there and they rep it out and they're looking around and they're, you know, looking like this guy essentially. That's another area to improve your exertion. You need to have some awareness of what you're lifting and why. And I think that's where tracking workouts can be very helpful, because it creates a bit more awareness of your effort with your workouts. So are you just going to the gym every time on shoulder day, picking that same weight and going through the motions and not really thinking about, I wonder if I could lift a little bit heavier, and trying that out? So I'm a big believer in trying to go heavier, even if you fail. Even if you only get 2 to 3 reps, then you do a drop set, all right? There's a lot of strength that can be gained by making sure you're actually pushing to your potential. So that's the other level of intensity you can work towards, is are you actually lifting heavy enough to stimulate the muscle, to stimulate muscle growth? And a lot of people don't actually do that. You know, we don't take account to trying to lift as heavy as possible, keeping in mind how many reps we're getting. If you're sitting there with a weight and you're going 20 to 30 reps, that's cool if you're purposely doing a high volume day. But if every day, every lift, every movement, you're getting 20 to 30 reps, and on that 30th rep, it's still easy for you, then you're likely not working hard enough. You're not going intense enough. You are definitely kind of missing a lot of potential you could be having and gaining in the gym. So different means of gaining that intensity in the gym and pushing a little bit harder. Couple different ways you can attack it depending on what you're currently doing. So something to think about. For me, sometimes getting back to tracking is like, I hate it. Honestly, I hate tracking workouts. Track food, I don't love it, but it's so friggin' easy for me. Don't mind it, can do it, doesn't take up much of my day. But you want me to track my workout, my weights, everything I've done, that's time consuming. But let me tell you, it's so super eye-opening. If you do the same workout program consistently for a bit, track your actual weights, track what you're doing, week after week, you go back and you say, last week I lifted those 20s and I got the full rep range. Let me try to go a little heavier this week. That's increasing your intensity, and that's you trying to push towards your potential to maximize your results. So highly suggest trying that if you have not done that already. I'm glad you guys enjoy the lives. We're going to keep doing these every Sunday at 5 p.m. Today was a bit more informal, rambly, blabby, I think is the word on my part, but thank you for those of you that ask questions. We will do more like specific topics, so make sure you're following me over on Instagram, because that's usually where I ask for your topic suggestions to chat about things. But don't worry, I'm still gonna also do some regular uploads to YouTube as well. We're gonna do regular vlogs, you know, day in the life stuff, recipes. More of that will be coming too. I know you guys are so patient with me and I appreciate that. I do get a bit more burnt out with having the puppy right now, but I know things will calm down and I'm gonna do my best to be as present as possible. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. I'm gonna go try to feed these two dogs. They seem tired still, so maybe I'll actually eat my dinner first, feed the dogs, and wind down for the evening. So I hope you guys did enjoy the live. If you did, be sure to also hit the thumbs up button. That does just help me out, helps the video get shared a bit more with the YouTube algorithm. And also make sure you are subscribed so that you don't